In this video, I'm going to give you 5 actions you need to take to transition from a beginner to an intermediate programmer as quickly as possible. So let's get started. So my initial intention for this video was to conduct an experiment. I wanted to see if I could get 2 ChatGPTs to collaborate together to code a snake game with little intervention on my part. And a few weeks ago I managed to achieve this, but I didn't record it. So since then, I made 5 more attempts to recreate this, but the results are pretty mixed. But this apparent failure led me to a different video idea and a common question asked by many beginners trying to learn how to program. Why, after spending so much time watching beginner tutorials and courses, can't I program anything interesting or useful? This is actually a common issue for many aspiring programmers. So in this video, I'm going to provide 5 actions you need to take to break away from the beginner phase and start building useful and fun projects. Now these actions are progressively more challenging, so you need to follow them in order. Let's start with the first action. One misconception beginners often have is that they must memorize coding paradigms, frameworks, and a lot of commands before they can begin their own projects or collaborate with others. But the reality is, even experienced programmers routinely refer to references and documentation to aid in their coding process. It's a fallacy to believe you have to know how to write perfect code from the start. In fact, the process of coding often involves trial and error, debugging, and continuous refinements. And through this process, you'll often learn much more than you would with any tutorial or course, because you'll most likely be working on something you're passionate about, and you won't be able to gloss over any details if you don't understand something. When it comes to courses and tutorials, many of us can get stuck in a comfort zone where it seems like we're making progress and being productive, but we're in fact just passively consuming content. Now, if you're absolutely brand new to coding, these courses are very useful, but after you have the basic understanding of variables, if statements, loops, and functions, it's time to move on from the endless cycle of beginner tutorials. Expect to struggle and get stuck on problems. You will write imperfect code, but if you don't start challenging yourself by writing your own code, you'll never escape this rabbit hole. Understandably, jumping straight into your code can be a stretch too far for some. So to ease you into the process, you can start the practice of spotting and correcting bugs in code. Now this practice serves as an excellent stepping stone towards becoming an effective programmer. And if you plan on making this your career, you'll encounter situations where you need to inspect and analyze code written by others. So this brings us neatly onto the snake game I was talking about earlier. ChatGPT is really impressive when writing small programs, and it's used by a lot of developers to streamline their workflow. But when it comes to larger programs, we start to see ChatGPT struggle. Now for our purposes, this is actually a good thing, because we have a program that is already partially written and somewhat functional. As a beginner, this means you don't have the overwhelming task of starting from scratch and can instead focus on fixing on errors, writing more efficient code, and adding additional features like custom graphics. Again, this is a daunting task for a beginner, but it's far less stressful than having to write your snake game from scratch yourself. And by debugging various programs that ChatGPT provides, you'll start to become familiar with certain code patterns, as well as becoming quicker at reading other people's code. Leetcode is a popular online platform that offers a wide range of challenges to help individuals improve their programming skills. It's especially beneficial for beginners who are looking to progress from beginner level to intermediate level in coding. If you followed the previous step, you'll be far more comfortable with the program's layout and which program structures to employ in different situations. For example, if you encounter a scenario where your code needs to make a choice among multiple options, you would recognize that an if statement is an appropriate construct to utilize in this situation. But the previous step goes beyond this, because it also teaches you how different programming structures combine to accomplish specific outcomes. This knowledge becomes incredibly useful when you try to solve Leetcode problems. Take this problem for example. Here, we're challenged to create a program that returns a list of numbers from 1 to a user specified number. But whenever we encounter a number divisible by 3, 5 or 3 and 5, we need those numbers to convert to fizz, buzz and fizzbuzz respectively. Doing enough debugging challenges in the previous step will help you realize that this style of problem will require a for loop containing a number of various if statements. Leetcode also offers a gradual progression of difficulty levels, allowing beginners to start with simpler problems and gradually tackle more complex ones as their skills improve. And these problems often align with coding interview questions. This makes it an excellent resource for beginners preparing for coding interviews and seeking to enhance their problem-solving abilities. While doing the 2 previous steps, you should be thinking about designing and building your own small projects. While these projects may take some time to complete initially, practicing the previous steps will significantly speed up your coding. But these projects cannot simply be toy problems like tic-tac-toe or even a weather app. Your projects must be designed to solve a problem that helps improve a person's life in some way. If you can do this, your projects will stand out from the crowd and potential employers will take notice. So to make our projects more impactful and differentiate them from common examples, we need to think about what's missing in our lives and in the lives of others. One issue I have is I live about half a mile from a water recycling centre, and under certain weather conditions, the smell can be quite bad. What I could do is I could collect daily weather data and log the intensity of the smell over several months and use a machine learning algorithm to build a model that forecasts the bad smell ahead of time. That way I could possibly make plans to go out for the day. Another less amusing example is developing a program that automatically separates images of my friends and family from other random images on my phone. And I can delete all these random images at once rather than having to pick out every image myself. And you can use computer vision for this process. From here, I'd highly recommend you set up a GitHub account to post your own projects and go as far as creating your own portfolio page to showcase your work. Now that you've gained confidence in your coding skills and completed your own small projects, it's time to take your programming journey to the next level by collaborating on GitHub. GitHub is a popular platform for version control and collaboration. You need to find a project that you find interesting and you feel you can contribute to. For example, if you're learning C++, you could fork out the Godot game engine and be part of a 12,000 strong community. To do this, you'd log into your account, navigate to the Godot engine project page and click on the fork button. This will copy over the public repo to your account, and from here you can clone it down to your local machine and modify the code. If you manage to create a new feature, you can then push your changes to the forked repo and create a pull request. This will notify the owner of the Godot engine and they can then inspect your code and insert it into their codebase if they approve. I'm going to create a video on exactly how to do this in the next few weeks, and I'll put it in the card above when it's complete. And remember, by actively participating and making valuable contributions, you can enhance your coding skills, gain recognition, and foster professional relationships within the developer community. So that's it for today's video. I hope you found it useful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And if you have any questions or comments about this topic or anything related to programming, please leave them below and I'll try and answer them as soon as possible. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.